Topics that we are going to cover today are China's Tianwen mission. So what is that mission? We'll see. This is more relevant from a science and technology point of view. And then we'll see the most important corridor, Zhangezhou corridor, why it is in the news. So we are going through various issues happening in the Europe and the Central Asia. Okay, so we'll see what is happening here in this area. So what is this corridor and why is this important? So we'll try to understand the bigger concept. So there was a news about the polygraphic test. So we will try to see various types of the tests that are involved. And is this can be accepted as a evidence? So you might have seen lie detector test. You might have heard about this thing. So is this lie detector test can be accepted as a evidence? What is the Supreme Court's stand on this thing? So can we go for the lie detector test or not? So these things we will try to understand. Then Brahmaputra River, I have also told you to go through the Brahmaputra River and its tributaries. Today I will show you how you have to study. So I will take the Brahmaputra example and I will show you the various tributaries of the Brahmaputra. So there are many questions in the past also UPSC has asked on the river and its tributaries. So it is a favorite zone for the UPSC. And Brahmaputra is so much in the news. So it is always in the news. The main news which I have seen today is the Northeast floods. So you can understand, you can imagine the relevance of the Northeast. Okay, so there is also a newspaper Hindu article about the arming of Assam people. Okay, so they are thinking of providing the civilians with the arms, with the more availability of the arms. So that's why Northeast is always in the news. So the major rivers that are flowing in the Northeast or the major national parks, biosphere reserves. So we should be having clarity on that area. So we'll see about the Brahmaputra River and then women's participation regarding recently people having came out of the with their training from the Defense Academy. Okay, so that's why these are the first batch of trainees, women trainees. So we'll try to understand the historical chronology. So previously women were not allowed in the combat roles in the defense system. Now they are being allowed. So what was the history? Just we'll try to understand. We'll try to have some kind of clarity on this. And then Valley of Flowers. Tourism has been opened up in the Valley of Flowers. So it is important for us from the ecology perspective, from the environment point of view. So where is this and what is the significance of this thing? Then we will see new draft regulations for the loans against the gold. Okay, some little bit clarity on this, what kind of guidelines have been given and all. So these are the certain things. The most important thing I find it is, okay, these three are the most important, these three and four, okay, the most important for us. Okay, we will have, like say, most of them are significant for the, like a prelims point of view also. They can be individually asked. From the mains again, these kind of things can be useful in the bigger perspective. So you cannot find a single topic on these particular items, but however, these things has to be substantiated when we are talking about China's growing presence. So we can cite this thing as an example. Okay, like Brahmaputra Dam, why are we considering this Brahmaputra Dam? So we can use these things as examples. So let's move forward. So what is this Tianwen 2 mission? Simple, like I have said, just understand these two paragraphs. It is a launch on the May 28 to 2025. So it is basically they have launched this mission to go and reach one particular asteroid, collect the samples from there and get back to the surface. It is very great or big mission, we'll say. Currently, India is not having technology at that level where they are going, collecting the samples and bringing back to the Earth's surface. This is a kind of very huge achievement. Where they are going? China, where is it sending? It is sending to the asteroid. Okay. So what is the mission? Tianwen. Explore efforts. The mission aims to collect samples from the quasi-satellite asteroid, and which is to resemble the lunar material, potentially being a fragment of the moon. Okay, so this particular asteroid is a fragment of the moon. Okay, this particular asteroid 46921 in Camus, Oliva, whatever it is. And then they will come back to Earth's surface. So you need to know what is this asteroid. Any basic thing you guys have to tell me. You guys are have started the studying NCERT. So you guys tell me what is star. Which has its own source of light and heat. Own source of light and heat. Okay. So if you have gone through the star cycle, okay, basically it is going through the nuclear fusion process in its core. Okay, please go through the NCERT. What is this nuclear fusion and nuclear fission? Okay, these are the ways through which nuclear energy is released. These are the two processes in which nuclear energy is released. Okay, in the star, this is a process that it goes through. Okay, where hydrogen elements are being fused together. They are brought together, they are being fused together. In this process, they are fused together. That is why we are saying fusion. They are being fused together. In this process, energy is released. What happens in the nuclear fission process? We take fuel as a uranium. Okay, this nucleus will be broken down. This basically, these higher elements in the periodic table, they are slightly unstable. When you bombard them with the neutrons, for every atom in the center, you have this nucleus, you have the protons plus neutrons, right? So when these are the having neutral charges, generally opposite charges are attracted to each other, but these are of same charges or same, both of them are positive or neutral charges. So when you try to bring them together, it requires a lot of energy to hold them together. So when you disturb this balance by sending one more neutron, this will break and release energy. Not everyone. Okay, when you select the particular elements like uranium in the periodic table, then they will release. They are radioactive. They will release a lot of energy. This process is called the fission. This is the only process currently we are able to generate the energy. This process is currently not in the usage. This process happens in the sun. What is happening here? Lighter elements. Your hydrogen, you might have studied in your basic NCERT. Our entire universe is made up of nebula, hot gaseous structure. Studied this thing, hot gaseous structure nebula. This hot gaseous structure is made up of nothing but the hydrogen and the helium. The initial primordial gases before forming up of the matter. This was the scenario, hydrogen and the helium. Okay, where hydrogen fuses together, later on helium will be developed. So because of this process, sun is going through nuclear fusion process. That's why a lot of heat and energy is generated. We are the planets. We don't have our own source of light and heat. We derive the light and heat from our nearest star, that is a sun. That's why we are a part of this sun. That's why we call it as a solar system. We are part of this solar system. In this solar system, we have star, planets which are deriving its heat and energy from the star, and also we have certain asteroids. Asteroids means they could not finally develop into the planets. They are some kind, they are of small size. They have not totally grown into the planets. Okay. Satellite means, what is satellites? If any body, be it natural or man-made, revolving around another body, then we will call it as a satellite. Now, Earth is a satellite of Sun. Moon is a satellite of Earth. In this way, in the same way, we can also put natural satellites, man-made satellites. Like say we have discussed about this International Space Station. There is also a satellite revolving around the Earth's surface. Anything we place and if that body is moving around another body, then we will call it as a satellite. Basics clear? So we need to have clarity. These things will be clear in your geography sessions. You will study in detail more about the solar system. I am just going only till this point. They will ask these kind of missions. So they are going to study this asteroid where they will collect the samples and get it back. Later on, they are going to do same by landing on the moon and they will bring back the sample. India is also planning to have this kind of missions in the future. Okay, so that is a basic fundamental point that you need to understand. See here, this is our sun. How many planets we have? 8 planets, and the Pluto is a dwarf planet. Okay, if you can see here, after the Mars and between the Jupiter, you have this white structures. These are the asteroids. This is the area where you find asteroids predominantly. This is not the only place. The place where predominantly found. If the question is asked, this is the only place where you find the asteroids, then it is wrong. This is the place where predominantly asteroids are found between the Mars and the Jupiter, then it is true. So one of the asteroids is being selected by the China and the mission has been sent. We are collecting samples from there because this is how the solar system has evolved. So when we study their samples, we will get to know how the evolution has happened, how the origin has happened, what was the initial kind of structure, rock fragments before the formation of the planet Earth. Now we cannot go back to the prototype Earth surface. We will see what was the scenario in these asteroids. So we will get some kind of extrapolation by inferring with some kind of inferences by studying these kind of rock materials. Okay, so that's why we study these things. Sure. So that is very important for the prelims. Tianwen 2. This mission follows China's successful Tianwen Mars mission and set the stage for the future endeavors like Tianwen aimed at Mars sample return. Now they are going to bring the Mars sample mission. Okay. Then Tianwen 4 targeting the Jupiter system. Now, Zangi, how I do not know how they will actually project. Zanzi-Zur corridor. Okay, this is how I am pronouncing. The local things that might change. Now we have seen, we have already discussed, Turkey is not pro-India. I have also told you Azerbaijan is also supporting. When the Pakistan was, we are at the fighting with the Pakistan, then Turkey and Azerbaijan has supported the Pakistan. Then I told you, so we also support the Armenia against the Turkey. Understand the big picture here. Now see here, this Azerbaijan and Turkey are pro to each other. Now they want to develop a corridor here. Remember this thing, Baku, okay, capital of Azerbaijan. Okay, then from here towards the Turkey, they want to develop a road link. Now this is important for India. Now you can imagine, again, these two guys are collaborating. So India should take steps. Okay, so this should not become anti-India. This should not hurt the interest of India. Okay, now Armenia is opposing it. Okay, can you see here? Zangi-Zur corridor. Okay, this is the narrow space. Okay, that passes through the borders of the Armenia. So it is very important for the prelims. They will ask. Okay, I was expecting another thing. Okay, in the Azerbaijan, there is another important province. Okay, Nagorno province. Okay, I was expecting question on this, but somehow UPSC did not ask it. So you might have seen the mapping. Okay, they have given various locations. So basically, they will ask this particular location in the news. Match the following with a country. That's how they will give. They gave Sardinia. Okay, some things area they have given. So in the same way, they can give, because this is a disputed area. Okay, this is currently controlled by the Azerbaijan, but it is having ethnicity, population of the Armenia. Okay, ethnic means it can be anything: race, language, religion, ethnicity. When we say that particular ethnicity means, criteria can be anything: race, language, religion, or anything. Basically, they are the ethnic group of Armenia. That's the point. But controlled by Azerbaijan. Okay, currently it is under the control of the Azerbaijan. And there is some narrow link here. Okay, through which Armenia provide a basic supply to this Armenian population present here. And that narrow corridor is here. It is present. Is called the Lachin corridor. Lachin corridor is a crucial land route in Azerbaijan that connects Armenia to the Nagorno-Karabakh province. It is very important. For sure, you will get the question. Now, we are supporting Armenia. Now, you understood why Armenia is very important for us. We have to strategically support. When Turkey try to poke us with supporting the Pakistan, now we can understand why for us Armenia is important. It is just basically present exactly between the Azerbaijan and the Turkey. Russia is trying to maintain the neutral stand for its own strategic interests. Now, you might have seen. Okay, I have told you. Okay, the way the drones are being used, new warfare. Are you able to understand the news now? Well, see here how they have damaged the Russians' aircrafts. They have used simple toys kind of thing, those marriage wala drones kind of things, some 40,000-50,000 drones, and they have destroyed the aircrafts itself. It is a huge, big blow. I told you. Ultimately, Russia might win, but they are not able to handle the crisis. They are facing severe setbacks. You can imagine how much severe setback Ukraine has given. Small country, just by using the drones. Okay, initially they have sent drones. Okay, through some various trucks and all. From there, they have hit at the various places. So we need to see what it is going to happen. Is it going to give a leverage for the Ukraine to talk? So Russia was saying, when we discuss, okay, we'll go for the ceasefire, but it will be on our terms. Till now, so far, Russia was saying this thing. Now the power dynamics are changing. Okay, now Ukraine has got more leverage by showing that even we are not less, we can give you good blow. Okay, so we need to see how it is going to turn, or Russia will take it to its ego. So definitely there is a Putin, we do not know. So Russia will not, I don't think personally Russia will back down or show any kind of fear or something. If Russia tries to attack, then again USA will impose severe sanctions on the Russia. Already there are so many set of sanctions on the USA because everything happens through trade. Trade happens through dollars. So if USA is a major controller of the dollar, if it puts restrictions on the dollar, then trade of the entire USA blocks. Currently, we are trading with the Russia in the rupee because dollars has been blocked. We have been largely benefited with this kind of conflict because we have imported largely from the Russia in terms of the rupee. So we are paying them rupee, and Russia said, "What do we do with this rupee?" Then we said again, invest those rupees in India. Okay. So later on, when things go well, then we might pay you. Okay, in other currency. So we have been largely benefited. Now USA will say, see, we are imposing sanctions on Russia. If something happens, this is how it will happen. So if more sanctions has to be imposed, then Russia will become very strong ally of the China, right? Then if China something does to India, then Russia will listen to China, because India is not unequivocally supporting China, Russia, anti-West. Understand the story, big picture. Okay, so USA might again put pressure on us, cut off your ties with the Russia, we are imposing sanction. But is USA listening to India? USA is supporting the Pakistan, IMF is providing loans, World Bank is providing loans, they have made some cryptocurrency deals. So if this thing is happening, why should India listen to USA? They are acting anti-India stance. They are also working in the Bangladesh. So there is clearly, we can see USA, I believe, okay, they are trying to stop the growth prospects of the, not just China, is also India. Okay, so they want to hit India. Okay, so we need to see what will happen. So maybe temporarily, maybe we can make a good deal with China. So we do not know how the things will open up. So, but if we have to make deals with the China, China should also understand the concerns of India. Okay, it should not go supporting the Pakistan and all. Will China do that? Pakistan is a very good ally of the China. Okay, so China cannot do that, because CPEC corridor, it is passing through the Pakistan's Balochistan. Okay, Pakistan is also required, okay, to get the support of Turkey and all. Okay, for the China is also, Turkey is also very important. So we do not know, very complicated and complex things. So we'll see how the international dynamics will change. So understand the story, things IR become very easy. IR will be mostly, they will be asking from the current affairs. Things will become very, very easy for you when you follow the newspaper current affairs. So now you are understanding, right? So you have understood why these things are happening, why you are supporting Armenia. When you suddenly read this thing as a fact before the current affair prelims, okay, like you are going to mug up for current affairs, okay, just 1 month ahead of the prelims, it is very difficult for you to remember these provinces, this Lachin corridor. Now you have the story in your mind. It is very easy for you to retain things. Randomly studying facts is very difficult. When you study with a clarity, background, what is happening, things will become easy for you. So lie detector test, it was something in the news, okay, regarding this polygraph test. So that's why I have picked up. So you need to understand there are types of tests. Lie detector tests are also known as deception detection test, include polygraph test, narcoanalysis, and the brain mapping. So these are the 3 subtypes of tests. You need to understand. Just polygraph test means anything. It is not just checking one parameter, it is checking any parameter. Say now you are speaking something. Okay, have you revised yesterday notes? Okay, now I have given you all the, I have kept you detectors. You said yes, then your blood pressure is rising or you are sweating. Okay, you got. Okay, it's not like that super movie. All right, no, so it won't be like that. Okay, so we are checking various other parameters here. Blood pressure, okay, and breathing, pulse rate. So it generally happens, right, when you are saying something, okay, or any lies and all. There are advanced people who can say any kind of lies and all without any changes in these parameters. So this is not totally foolproof. Okay, so there can be some kind of errors. So that's why initially before 2010, Supreme Court has said this can be used as evidence. But after 2010, Supreme Court has said this judgment is important for us. Okay, it cannot be used as a kind of evidence. But however, for indirectly using this thing, you got some new evidences. Then you can use it as a kind of evidences. Because this thing is also against this Article 20 subclause 3. Previously also I have discussed against this Article 20 subclause 3. Okay, self-incrimination. You cannot be testifying, you cannot be saying your own, okay, I have done this thing. The self-incrimination is not acceptable. Okay, so go through this Article 20 subclause 3, since it is, see here, emphasizing that compelling an individual to make a statement would be against it. See here, it is a grounded in the fundamental right against the self-incrimination under the Article 20 subclause 3. And if I have to use this lie detector test, you guys should give the consent. Okay, I cannot take this test against your will. You should be okay. You should be giving me that consent. Let's go for this test. So this is the first point. Second point, it is not directly can be taken as a kind of confession or the evidence. This is the point. And what is the judgment? Selvi versus State of the Karnataka. Selvi versus State of the Karnataka. Now see here, one more Okay. So previously in the Rojo, George versus DSP and State versus Dalmia, the courts noted that modern crime techniques, it has endorsed these matters. Later on, in the Selvi versus State of Karnataka, it said, no, you can't do this thing. So you got the big picture. So you got clarity. Narco analysis means, so here, so these kind of questions also involve the injection of drug called sodium pentothal, which induces a hypnotic or sedated state, making the subject more likely to divulge the information. So which is the drug they are using in the prelims? They can ask. Sodium pentothal. Then brain mapping, neural activity will be measured. All these are the three types of the methods to identify whether the person is saying truth or not, or the clarity. That's it. There's nothing more than that thing. Now see, on the freedom of the, so we have done this thing. I have not taken content here, but I'm just giving you one more thing. Many things are going on regarding the freedom of speech and expression. I have told you under Article 19, under 19 subclause 1, various rights have been given. Freedom to speech, freedom to move, freedom to have associations, okay, freedom to practice profession. You are basically Article 19 to 21 is about the freedom. You can go anywhere, okay, you can talk, do anything and all. But later on in the 2, there are various kinds of restrictions. Whatever the restrictions are there, okay, there are certain restrictions have been placed. Okay, now I have told you why this freedom is very important, especially if I ask you why the freedom of speech and expression is very important. Will you be able to say at least 5-6 points? I have discussed this thing. Why the freedom of speech and expression is very important. You will say why? Anything. Why do you need to talk? Why do you talk free? First thing, democracy. If there is no freedom, will you be able to speak? Okay, if you don't speak, will the democracy be successful? Democracy means it is ruled by you people. Okay, for suppose if I am taking the class, if you guys are not giving any feedback, how it should be taken, which content you want, where you are missing, where you are lagging, will I be able to provide you the content, desired content that is required in the class? So that is called democracy. Okay, that is the bottom up approach. So when the citizens are participating, if they have to participate, they need to have the information. So that's why democracy is important. And also for the feedback, okay, for the policy correction, we have seen various things where how the education policy has been reformed. Okay, so for the so for any kind of changes in the policy, for the terms of the feedback, and also if people are getting hurt, so there will be no fights. If I am imposing something, if you guys are going and saying on your friend, no, we'll meet at this time only. No, we have to do this thing only. Okay, will that relation sustain? No, be it a friend or your son or anything even. Okay, they will say that. No, right? So in the same way, there can be law and order disturbances. If you don't allow the people to speak, okay, so there will be a kind of anger will keep on piling up and suddenly it will blow. Okay, so you need to think more points. Now we have seen various restrictions. Okay, like I have told you, on one side we have seen during one person got arrested. Okay, the professor got arrested because saying something against the sovereignty of the India. Then we have seen regarding the this copyrights. Okay, his freedom of speech and expression has been restricted. YouTuber, the ANI case. And yesterday, couple of days back, one Instagram influencer got arrested. Okay, because she has posted something that which has caused communal disturbances. Okay, you have freedom of speech and expression, but it does not mean you go on say anything and hurt the feelings of others. There has to be reasonable restrictions on this, and it has to be always substantiated with the right evidences. You just cannot say on the opinion to hurt the others. We always need tolerance. We also need to respect other values. Okay, without any just evidence, your own feelings, you cannot just go and say openly in public, hurting the sentiments of the others. Okay, there are certain reasonable restrictions. In the same way, a person has criticized the Supreme Court's judgment. Okay, so here contempt of court. So all this comes under the various reasonable restrictions. Now you have the freedom of speech and expression. You go on say, okay, just say I will do this thing to you. Okay, now this will spoil friendly relationships with with other countries. So you cannot go on say anything as you want, which can spoil the relationships. So there are various restrictions that you need to know, but these restrictions are not clearly defined anywhere in the Constitution. I have told you this thing. We have given you those judgments that day. Okay, Supreme Court will case to case basis decide whether this comes under the reasonable restrictions or not. See, in this way, new examples will keep coming in. You need to just add the recent examples. That's it. I have also given you Shreya single judgment where she has posted something online using the IT Act. It was restricted, but later on Supreme Court has struck down section 66 of IT Act. Okay, Shreya single case. Okay, like this, you need to keep updating and revising the content. Okay, this was in the news. Now we know the bigger picture. So this is a part of that thing. So for like a Instagram influencer got arrested, that is just one addition of example. You have already done the freedom of the speech and expression. You know Article 19. You know what is reasonable restrictions. You know whether it is defined in the Constitution or not. You know its significance. You know its limitations. Everything is done. New examples you have got. That's it. Now see Brahmaputra River. Okay. See, this is my handwritten thing. Okay, this is how I make diagrams for my own learning. Okay, this I have uploaded the same thing so that you guys need to do the same way. Okay, so like say it originates from one particular point, Yalung Sangpo River. Okay, like from here after hitting the Himalaya, it will take the southward turn. Okay, from here it is called as the Siang River. On the Siang River, we are constructing the dam. Yesterday they have seen Siang dam project in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so two tributaries here joins it. Okay, it is like the Dibang and the Lohit. Then they will join this Siang River. If you can see here there is a famous island called the Majuli Island. Riverine, famous island, Majuli Island. This is also important. Now you see, river is flowing this way. Okay, it is say for suppose river is traveling this way. Now another rivers are joining from here. These are called the left bank tributaries. I am moving in this way and they are joining from my left side. These are called the left bank tributaries. If they are joining from my right side, they are called as a right bank tributaries. Okay. So when the same rivers get divided, it is called distributaries. New rivers add up, they are called the tributaries. Same river, now it is getting divided here, then it becomes distributary. Okay. So got clarity what is tributary and what is distributary. So you need to remember all these right hand tributaries and the left hand tributaries. Dhansri, here you have the Dhansri, and here you have the Kupili, another river. Okay, here. If you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of these things. Ganga is also tributary, finally joins the Brahmaputra. Okay, then they become the Padma River in your west, in your Bangladesh, and finally joins the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What are those rivers? Subansiri River, Kaming River, Manas River, Sankosh River, and the Teesta River. So even on the Teesta, recently we are imposing some kind of restrictions. The way we are doing on the Indus water, so with the Pakistan, so we are making some kind of dams and project to put the pressure on the Bangladesh. Nothing substantial we have done, but still we are using the Teesta River. Now people get confused. They think Teesta is a tributary of the Ganga. Okay, you need to be very clear. UPSC has previously also asked. It flows from the Sikkim region and then finally enters into the Bangladesh. Teesta is a tributary of the Brahmaputra. So in the same way, for all the major rivers, for the Ganga, Yamuna, for all the major rivers, Krishna, Godavari, in the way, same way, Kaveri, all the major rivers, whatever you have, there are not so many rivers. You will not do for 100, 200. There are some 10 to 20 major rivers. For those rivers, you will do this way. How much time it will take? It will not take major difference, major time. So you will only remember major rivers. You will keep going through the same way for every river frequently for 1 year, by 1 year. So you will be able to recollect. So there you are not supposed to recall the tributaries. Options will be there in front of you. You are just supposed to recall, okay, after looking at the option, yes, this is the Brahmaputra. Okay, so if I ask you any tributary which is not mentioned here, then you will say, okay, I have not studied this thing. So it might not be tributary of the Brahmaputra. So you just need to, once you see in the exam hall the statement, you need to be able to recall. Now this same river, this is a Himalayan river. Now this is the river that is causing huge floods in the Assam. Your parts of every time you will see currently in few days, Assam river. Okay, Assam, in the Assam regions are getting flooded. You will get this thing, Manas National Park. In the Manas National Park, we have seen recently regarding one of the animal. Okay, which animal? We have seen dhole, wild dog. Okay, they are living in harmony with the other carnivores. Okay, you also have the one-horn rhino here. Okay, in this Kaziranga National Park and all. Okay, so these areas are frequently getting flooded because this is a major, mighty river flowing from the Himalayas. In the Himalayas, the slopes are this way. They are coming to the flat areas. Suddenly, the speed of the river increases and they cause enormous flooding because they are also coming from the hilly areas that carry huge amount of sediments and boulders with them. Where would they deposit? So they will deposit in their space and they will move this way. That is a natural course of river. Okay, you can't do anything. You need to just vacate, but population is very high, so we are not able to do that. Okay, but that area is getting frequently flooded. So you will get in the news frequently the same issues, the Missouri Island and all those related national parks which I have mentioned. Okay, so same thing I have given here. Okay, so Dibang, Lohit. Okay, see here. Okay, then I have given Subansri. Okay, Calming. All those major mighty tributaries are there, which I have given here. So are we clear? Now, see context. What is the context? National Defence Academy witnessed a momentous occasion on May 30, 2025 as first ever batch of 17 female cadets was among the 336 who passed out of the academy, marking a culmination of the 148th course. Okay, so basically they have passed out. The trainees have come out of the academy. Okay, so previously women were not allowed to participate in the combating roles. Women were considered weak and they were not given. They were not allowed to participate in the combatant roles. Now in the 2021 Supreme Court has given the judgment. From there it has been allowed to take participation in the combatant roles. Now they can also become head. Okay, chief army general. Okay, they can also reach to the highest position in the defense. Now all these positions has been liberalized. Now women can also equally participate just like a male counterpart. So we may say in the future the final chief, the head might be leading the might be a lady. Okay, so that is the context of the news. So in the history, see here by 1958 women were granted regular commissions as doctors. So basically they were able to just take care of nursing activity, some medical activities initially in the 1950s time period. Okay, in the 1992 introduction of the Women's Special Entry Scheme, allowing women into non-combat roles like education, intelligence. So non-combat activity they have allowed in the 1992. In the 2008, so even this thing, even in the non-combat area, non-combat means like say where you are generally taking care of non-fighting kind of thing, where you are taking care of general health, education, the other things which are not directly related to the combating. Okay, so even that thing also was a kind of not permanent. Maybe they might be coming for a little bit, few years, 3 years, 4 years, for a particular 2 years, and they might go. In the 2008, there was a permanent commission in certain fields. Later on, in the 2020, the Supreme Court of India delivered a landmark judgment allowing women officers to receive the permanent commission and the command roles across the 10 streams, breaking down the gender barriers. So that is how we need to understand. So it is a very good move. Okay, taking from the so any kind of selection should happen based on the competency. There used to be debate that women are not that stronger physically. Okay, so the counter debate was, okay, if that is the case, if it is based on the efficiency, then you may not select the woman. But if the woman is able to match a male counterpart, then they has to be taken for the relevant position. So that's how they have been taken. So basically, so they will treat every male or female, everyone in an equal manner now currently. If they are able to match the competency that is required, then they will be definitely promoted to the higher positions. But problem here is, see, the patriarchy or this male domination, maybe superiority and inferiority complex might not be that visible with the students, with the young generations and all. But in orthodox people or in some areas, if you go into the DA or with some elderly people, that is there. If say a woman is in the higher commanding position, if a woman put orders, go and do this thing, their male egos might get hurt. Okay, so will they accept the commands from the woman officer? So these kind of things have come up. So that is why, along with the legal changes, we also need to bring the social changes. So we need to change the psyche. We need to work on the social mindset also. That's why in your UPSC preparation, you don't restrict only to the study of the law. You will also study the society. You will also study how you bring the attitudinal changes, how you do the persuasion. Sometimes you need to impose law. Sometimes you need to persuade. Look, you cannot do like this. Gone were those days where there were unequal powers. Now there can be equality. Okay, something you have to bring those ways to break that belief system. People carry certain attitude because of their belief system. When you break that belief system, when you counter that with a facts, rationality, logics, then their belief systems will be changed and they will follow what is actually right. Okay, so that is required. The Valley of Flowers, I have picked up this thing because tourism has started in this area. So you need to know, so where is this? It is in the Uttarakhand. That is the most important point that you need to know. It is also a national park. It is a very important place, and here you have the most important flower called the Brahmakamal flower. Okay, so that is the important point, and this is present in the Garhwal region of the Uttarakhand. And this Uttarakhand is also having one of the significant biosphere reserves called the Nanda Devi Biosphere Reserve. It is one of the earliest biosphere reserve, maybe first or earliest. Okay, I need to check the fact. Probably this is the first biosphere reserve, if I am not wrong, right? Nanda Devi Biosphere Reserve. Biosphere Reserve means a large protected area. Okay, it consists of very big area. Okay. No, let me tell you. See, Biosphere Reserve means basically we need to protect the biodiversity. So for this, we'll consider entire area as a biosphere reserve. These are very big in size. They are very big in size that you might be having many national parks under it. And so there can be so many wildlife sanctuaries under it. So there is a very big size. So basically you will have the core zone and the buffer zone. Okay, in the core zone, no human activities will be allowed. Okay, they are restricted only to this to basic core related things. Okay, whatever the biodiversity, whatever the community that is existing there, only they can do this thing. Okay, in the buffer zone, some activities like grazing and all this, collection of fruits and all, some activities for the local cities allowed. Okay, outside that zone, some of the other activities allowed. So basically, biosphere reserve is the biggest area because I have told you, IUCN data is saying that many species are dying. Okay, as per the recent Kunming declaration, if you have seen recent biodiversity COP 16 or 17, I could not exactly recall. There is a COP 16 or 17. I have told you. After the 1992 Earth Summit, various things have come out. One thing is CPD, Conventional Protection of the Biodiversity. Where the various parties are coming together and meeting and discussing every year how to protect the biodiversity. In this way, the recent meeting, okay, not the recent meeting, in the COP 15 or 16, they have made a target which is called a Kunming Declaration. Kunming Declaration. Okay, there they have declared the 30 by 30 rule, where in your entire area 30% should be protected areas. Okay, entire whatever the terrestrial landscape is there, 30% should be protected areas. Currently it is 16%. So these protected areas are nothing but these national parks, biosphere reserves, wildlife sanctuaries, and even in these protected areas the protection is not very strongly available. Okay, so that's how we use the protected areas so that we don't interfere in at least in some areas of the biodiversity. Currently we are humanizing everywhere. We are changing the landscape. We are changing the territories, everything. Okay, man and animal conflict, everything is coming up. We are destroying the biodiversity. So at least in these protected areas, we should do the minimal to minimal invasion. So biosphere areas are the getting the strongest protection. And certain biosphere reserves are also recognized by the UNESCO. Okay, global organization. So we have India's own biosphere reserves, and also some organizations are internationally recognized. So that is another point that you need to remember. Okay, so I have just tried to link it with the Kunming Declaration. That is COP 15, if I am not wrong. Okay, where you have got the declaration. Okay, we'll try to, whenever you go for any prelims or mains, so you need to have the base, how it has come up, and the last 1-2 summits are very important. That's it. Okay, now not every summit is important. Okay, if while you are going to the exam, be it prelims or mains, if it is recently some COP 16 or 17 has taken place, so you need to be having very clear clarity on the recent summit and what were the outcomes of that summit, and any one more thing of the previous summit, and overall what are the major things has come out of the various summits. Maybe 5 points, 7 points, that will do your job. Someday we will do when it is in the news. So new draft of regulations for loans against the gold. So see, every time whenever there is a kind of global uncertainty, remember this concept. I'm not just going into the rules. I'm saying this thing. People will invest more in the gold. Gold prices will rise. So 10 grams gold, okay, it has cost 95 or 6,000, something like that. Okay, so there was once a time, okay, when I have just started to earn, okay, then it was like a very low price, somewhere around 50,000, 55,000. It was like that. Then okay, but then when people used to ask me to invest in the gold, I was like, what will I do? Will I wear or what? I don't know. Okay, so the gold prices, but now it is almost doubled in the last 5 years. Okay, so why the gold prices will rise whenever there is a such a kind of instability across the world? Because people will try to have the safe assets. So whenever these disturbances are happening, you will see the stock markets will become unstable. So the investments in the company might go down because people will fear, okay, they might invest in that company, but that company's supply chain might get affected because of the global war kind of scenario. And that company can make losses. So your money will be gone. If you are an investor, if you are a shareholder, the company loses the profit, you are also losing. You are basically, when you invest in any kind of shares or stocks, so you are becoming the equity holder, shareholder. So if the company grows, you will grow. It is not a loan. Loan means whatever happens, even if you die, you need to give me my loan with the interest, whether you are making profits or losses. That is different. Loan is different. Equity means, so you are getting the share. 25% equity, so you will get in the profits 25%. That is the difference. So people will not go in the participation on this thing. So people will say, we'll safely invest in the gold, because gold demand is always high, metal. So they will feel it is safe and they will invest in the gold and as well as the dollar. So can you see why the dollar price is also rising? In the last 1-2 years, rupee is depreciating so much. Now, if something happens with the Russia and with the world, okay, any major event happens, then again your share market will fall down, your dollar will become stronger, and your gold will become even stronger. People will feel dollar and gold are safe because dollar can be used anywhere. If you carry dollar, you can use it even in the China also, you can use anywhere. Dollar is accepted by everyone, but rupee, is it accepted? No. Okay, very few countries they accept because of that also bilateral deals. Okay, or else rupee is not accepted. So people will invest in the gold and the dollar. So now people have got a very good loan with gold with them. So now what they are doing, they are using as a collateral. Collateral means guarantee. They are placing it as a guarantee and they are getting the loans. But if they don't pay back the loan, I told you, it will turn into the non-performing asset. Non-performing asset. That means bank is not getting any kind of return on it. Principal or interest, anything is they are not getting. So this is slowly they have seen people are pledging their gold ornaments, and sometimes they are not repaying the loan, and this is increasing its NPA because we have seen bank in it. Government will pledge their assets, not government, banks will pledge their assets and they will sell their assets, auction their assets. But somehow, even though going through this process, they are not able to sell the gold. People are not buying it because the cost is very high. Okay, they are not able to sell because banks are not supposed to involve in the trading and selling things, right? They are not masters in that. Their role is different. So somehow banks NPA is increasing. That's why RBI has introduced new gold guidelines. So you understood the context. So as per the new gold guidelines, so if I keep here only for the ornaments, not for the entire gold. Okay, you need to understand here. Okay, the RBI has told banks only can be offered against the gold jewelry, not bank issued coins and not against the gold bars, bullion, etc. Now I can place a gold. Suppose if my ornament is 1 lakh worth. So I will get a loan worth of 75%. That means 75,000 only loan I will get. And even though I am depositing 24 carats gold, it will be considered as only 22 carats gold. Beyond 22, they will not consider. Okay, you may give, okay, but they will consider it as only 22 carat. Okay, if it is anything less than that, they will consider the price accordingly. That is the second rule. Okay, so not more than 75,000. That means they are able to make up the losses. So they, if you keep a gold worth 1 lakh, you will be getting loan only till the 75,000 and also on the limited time period. And also for not for both the things. Like say here, see concurrent loans for both the consumption and income generation purposes is prohibited, either for the consumption or for the income generation. Consumption means, for suppose I need for my let's say my salary has not been deposited, it will be anyway deposited. Okay, now meanwhile for the 2-3 months I need for my daily food and all, whatever my needs are there. So that's why I need money. So I deposited the gold and I have taken this. This is for the consumption. And another thing, I need money for the investment purpose to run some kind of business activity. This is for the investment. So you cannot get the gold for both the things, either this thing or this thing. Gold loan for the both the things. This is what they have mentioned. And So you need to give proper ownership, proof of ownership, and this is the 75% value. If any delay is there, compensation will be given. Okay, if the lender delays returning collateral beyond 7 working days after repayment of the loan, your gold is not being returned. Okay, then 5,000 per day will be given compensation. Okay, so these things are brought so that to protect the lenders. This will be coming into the force from the January 1st, 2026, not immediately. So definitely it will be in the news again in the January. So they may ask in the prelims again. So, and this is not applicable to the loans that are less than 2 lakhs. So basically, small players or small people might be needing money for the general consumption, general purposes and all. So these rules, they don't want to affect the people in emergency. Okay, people who are asking loan for 50,000, 1 lakh, they might be having some other necessity, some other requirements. Okay, so these rules are not imposed on the small borrowers. Okay, so that's it for today. Any other topic is left? Okay, so that's all for today. So not every day you will have so many things, the same things which we have discussed on the GDP. So we need to focus on the qualitative growth, not just the quantitative growth. So those articles were there in the Hindu. So the same things debates will keep on coming, discussions will keep on coming. Since we have discussed whatever the relevant content is there, so we will not get into the same discussions again and again. Okay, that's all. Thank you for today's discussion, participating in today's discussion. Okay, bye bye, take care.